Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we have two very well-rounded actor and actress. We got Stephanie Gurnoe, and tell me if I correct this, Joe Spar.
That's exactly right. Not many people
Okay,
get that. Nice job, Josh.
thank you. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. It's a beautiful day up here in the UP, so I've been spending my time outside.
Oh yeah. It's kind of hot and humid down here in Roseville, but that's because we just got done barbecuing. Uh, so before we get into the movies and everything like that, I'm gonna give you each time to kind of just walk us through your younger years and what really got you into movies and where you are today.
I'll let you go first.
All right, sounds good. Thanks again for having me on here, Josh. I'm excited to talk about my background for you. It all began for me when I was in seventh grade. I was a child extra in the movie Godfather of Green Bay, which had some attention on it. It was a theatrical release, but that was filmed partially in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And then from there, I went on to do some school musicals and stuff like that, some student films when I was in college. And then I moved up to Sault Ste. Marie to start my career, but kind of put the acting dream on hold, even though that was always in the back of my mind as the thing that I wanted to do. Then in about 2021, I decided I can do my career. I work full time as a psychologist. I can do that career while also pursuing the acting dream. So I got a lead role in the movie The Men Long Forgotten, which is about the wreck of the ship Carl D. Bradley on the Great Lakes. Came just before the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, but people know the Edmund Fitzgerald wreck a lot better because of the song. And then
For
from
sure.
that led to an opportunity to be in the first movie where Stephanie and I were featured together, which was Killer Cabbage.
Yeah.
And from there, one of the actors from that movie decided that once he retired, he was going to take his shot at filmmaking, and he cast us as leads together in Uber Frankenstein. And
Yeah.
it was that connection and that experience that made, I think, both of us realize that this is what we were made for. This is the dream we really want to pursue. So then we've gone full force at it ever since then. I've probably got about 11 film credits and about six commercial credits at this point. Finished acting school this year, just going after it with everything I have. And she's right here along with me, working hard at it too.
I'm not as adventurous as Joe. I haven't gone to acting school or anything like that. But I got my start in high school. I did a lot of stage theater. And then even after high school, I would do what's called alumni theater, where I would go back every summer and help raise money for a senior at the high school to go to college for theater. So that I did that for years. But yeah, I had a friend who did that alumni theater with me, Jude Reed. He told me that him and his friend were making this movie called Killer Cabbage, and he asked me if I wanted a role in it, and that was 2 years ago. I had no idea that I would be here at this point. I've got, I think, 10 credits now under my belt, ten film credits. And I don't plan on slowing down. I love it. I love being in front of the camera. I love being someone different and taking on that persona, that role, and bringing that character to life.
Oh yeah. Uh, like I said, I do a little bit of research. Joe, I'm gonna say congratulations. You got the highest honor in your field in college. You know,
Thank you. Yeah, that was something that I got in my career. I was about 11 years into my career when I got that award. That was the School Psychologist of the Year award for the state of Michigan. So
yes.
thank you for doing that research and bringing that up. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah. And Stephanie, I would be amiss if I didn't say that you were in probably most, arguably the most popular play ever, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Twice,
Yes.
twice. I was Columbia in both those productions, and that was by far like the funnest stage production that I ever did. Just having the audience involvement with the callbacks and the people who would dress up and come to the midnight showings. I mean, I would hands down 100% do that stage performance again. It's so fun.
Oh yeah. Me and my wife been to a couple. I've never dressed up because, yeah, but it is a very wild experience. I will say that.
Yeah, it's great, great fun, great fun.
Oh yeah. Uh, so what really brought you to the genre you guys are at? Because it's kind of like a horror kind of comedy thing, somewhat. But then I see some other credits you guys have, and it's like you guys are definitely horror.
Yep.
So, what brought you guys to that?
So I have been a horror fanatic my entire life. I grew up with the classics, the Halloween, the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like that was my childhood. And it was really like my personality. Like even in high school, I had like that whole goth phase and everything. So there's just something about horror that just has always drawn me in, but we really like the horror comedies too, because I mean, who doesn't like to get scared and laugh at the same time? But it's just great. Yeah, there's something about horror that just makes me feel like I'm at home. Those are my comfort movies. Those are the ones that like I fall asleep to. So I honestly like I don't even really want to do another genre unless it's like a comedy horror or something like that.
Oh yeah.
How about you?
And let's be realistic here. Audience at home, take a look at Stephanie. Does she look like she should be in a genre other than horror? Look at this dark energy, these dark green eyes and black hair. She was made for this.
Oh yeah.
I've been telling her since we worked together on Uper Frankenstein, she's got Sherry Moon Zombie or Jamie Lee Curtis written all over her.
Oh,
She was made for
well,
this.
fingers crossed, man.
And
It's a hope.
she's gonna make fun of me for this, but on my acting journey, where I began is I got cast as the main character's husband in a Hallmark movie. So for years I thought, okay, so I must be Hallmark material. I want to be this, sensitive, down to
No.
earth, understanding, charming husband. And I thought Hallmark movies were my thing. And then she takes one look at me and she's like, "You're horror."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wait a second." Yeah, I think you're right.
Don't get
So-
me wrong. He could totally pull off a Hallmark dad if he really wanted to. But I think once he got introduced to the horror genre, he really started feeling more at home there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I think I really thrive playing sinister characters, and there's a whole lot of those in the horror genre. Not to mention, I have realized ever since Uper Frankenstein that horror fans are the best
They
fans.
really are.
They are so loyal. They love horror
Yeah.
movies. They're fanatical at conventions. I don't know that there's any genre I'd even be that thrilled to be a part of when you compare how great the horror fans are. And
know.
so much of this is just about making art for wonderful people, and
Yeah.
horror fans are the kind of wonderful people that I want to make art for.
They're definitely very appreciative of what we do. There's a niche out there, and those are my people.
Oh yeah. Speaking of horror, what was your guys' first memory of horror? What was that very first movie that you were like, "That's what I want to do"?
Okay. Mine goes back. I think I was like 5 or 6 years old, and my cousins were like, "Oh, you got to watch the show." And it was Tales from the Crypt. And I was like, "No, no, it's too scary. I don't want to watch it." But they like, held me down and forced me to watch it. But like as soon as I saw it and saw what it was like this adrenaline rush, this like I got addicted to the adrenaline that you get when you're scared. And after that it was like just give me all of it. Like that's all I wanted to watch after that. So Tales from the Crypt was like my introduction, my first peek into the horror community there.
And that's a good introduction, though.
Yeah.
For me, I think the real defining moment, and I remember this very vividly from childhood, it was when the original Blair Witch Project came out. And I grew up in the Upper Peninsula, so being out in the woods, hunting, stuff like that. And I remember that movie came out and I saw it in theaters and it scared me so badly. Being out in the woods at night, anything like that, it was just I just felt perpetually spooked, and that was powerful. And then I finally got this opportunity along with Stephanie to
Yeah.
do a found footage horror movie back in January.
Yeah.
We did this segment for a horror found footage anthology called VHS Violence Afterlife, which was a found footage
Mhm.
horror. And it was probably the most fun that I've ever had. Um, I shouldn't say that. I've had a lot of awesome experiences, but it's just this uniquely amazing combination of both directing. You act as both an actor and a director photographer because you're operating a camera while acting, and it was scary.
Yeah.
The movie that we made, it ended up being really scary. So
Yeah.
that I've been kind of a found footage lover ever since Blair Witch touched me the way that it did, and it was so cool to see everything come full circle and get to do a found footage horror movie with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We'd actually filmed that entire segment right here in Joe's house where we currently are.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and that actually opened up like a whole another opportunity for us where we got in contact with a director, Dustin Ferguson, out in California, that he produced that VHS Violence Afterlife, and he really liked what we did on that segment, and now we've both been cast in a couple of his movies. So we've both already been out to LA once. I'm going back out again in July to do a movie called Man Eater. And my teenage self is literally like the hardest fluttering because I get to act with Walter Phelan, who was Dr. Satan in House of a Thousand Corpses, and Suze Lanier, who was in the original Wes Craven Hills Have Eyes. So, like my teenage self is like can hardly believe it. Like I get to act with these people that I've seen their movie 1,000 times, and yeah, dreams are coming true.
Oh yeah. Uh, so I do want to talk about the process of auditions because you both have auditioned for projects that I'm attached to. When you guys get the lines, sides, whatever people call it nowadays, uh, how do you prepare for the character? And do you draw inspiration from other characters from other movies or maybe even movies you've played in past?
Go ahead.
Well, I think that kind of depends on the role, but I will say that I personally don't really draw inspiration from characters in movies very often. What we actually do is we do a lot of our auditions together, where she will act as my reader, I will act as her reader, so that the person saying the lines off screen, so we can react to an actual person as opposed to pre-recording it ourselves or something like that. And when I did my auditions for your movie, we bounced some ideas back and forth off each other, and we talked about what is the essence of this character,
Right.
what are this character's motivations, and I don't want to give up like anything from your script. I'm going to be
No,
brief
you're
in
good.
the way that I talk about all this, but we,
It's really like trying to draw from real life scenarios. Like if you're taking different personalities just from like the context clues that you get in the script, how would these individuals interact with each other in real life? You kind of create a person with a personality. Like how would this person with this personality articulate this phrase, or how would this person respond? So I take a lot of my auditions just from real life experiences, not so much as like movies or actors, but I think you can really get raw with it when if you've experienced it or you witnessed it or at least have an idea. The imagination is an incredible tool, and I think that more actors should really utilize the imagination instead of just like going through the motions. Like envision yourself actually being in that scene.
Oh yeah. Uh, I mean, in casting, you're right. I see a lot of auditions. I've seen a lot of auditions, and I'm not gonna say any of them were bad because none of them were bad. It's just they were different, and I can tell the difference from this and that. And the fact that you said it's better to kind of just go off life experiences. I mean, ultimately, that's what I think everyone should do because at the end of the day, it's like you're living your life, and if you're going to be this character, you have to put yourself into this character. So that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Uh, so Joe, I'm a little bit jealous because you got to work with probably hands down one of my favorite actresses, Lauren Holly.
Yes.
Uh, big fan of hers, but go ahead.
Oh, did you just want to hear about that?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. I should have said,
Okay.
explained that. I'm sorry.
All right, Josh, you're going to be underwhelmed here. So, in
Okay.
The Godfather of Green Bay, it starred Lauren Holly. It was freshly off of when she had done Dumb and Dumber, so she was still she was big at that time. But her role, she was the lead actress in the movie, and I was merely an extra who walked in the background in one of her scenes. So what happened is Lauren Holly was walking down First Street in Menominee, Michigan, which is like our waterfront district area. And I am walking in the background across the street, and we probably did that about 20 times. They got like 20 takes of that one scene, and that was the end of my interactions with her. But when we were leaving, I was driving away with my family in a car. Lauren Holly hopped in this like little Geo Metro with the other actors, and she looked at my brother who was sitting in the back seat, and she smiled at him. And my brother still talks about how he was 6 years old at the time, how Lauren Holly smiled at him.
Oh,
So
that's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, that's still an awesome experience, I would imagine, though. So,
yep.
uh, so let's talk, if you can, about Uber Frankenstein. Any one of you can start.
I'd be happy to. I got the shirt on for you today. All
Uh,
right. So just to give you a little bit of info on You Per Frankenstein, I know you had mentioned earlier that we had started to delve into the horror comedy genre. Just to be clear, You Per Frankenstein is a straight horror. There is no comedy element to You Per Frankenstein, and I think that's an important misconception to clear up.
There's a couple of jokes throughout it to like break the tension, but it's not a horror comedy.
Right, right. There's a little comic relief as needed, but it is a straight horror
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
And that is one that a lot of people around here are very excited about. Not many movies get made in the Upper Peninsula. So the fact that there's one with Uper in the title has been huge. Our community's been incredibly supportive. People are always asking me, when's Uper Frankenstein coming out?
Yeah.
Don't have an answer for you yet, but we're pretty far along in the post-production process, so hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But I feel like what kind of knowledge basis do you have about Uper Frankenstein, Josh? What can we give you?
uh, just a brief synopsis. That's all I need. I don't want no spoilers, no nothing.
Sure.
I didn't even read up on it. I see it
Okay.
on the IMDb.
All right. So, Uber Frankenstein is about the Dr. Hugh Beaumont, who I'm playing, in my quest to develop reanimation technology because my beloved wife had died years previously in an accident, and my main ambition is to master this technology so I can bring her back. I have my knowledge of neurology that's useful in this process, but there is a brilliant scientist who is interviewing at my lab, and she's the missing piece because her understanding of neurological connections and wiring is going to allow us to work together to do an early prototype of a reanimated body that we acquire, of a dead body that we acquire with the hopes of test running this reanimation technology.
Yeah, so it's just our little Uper twist on Mary Shelley's classic Frankenstein. Dave Cairns is the one who wrote and directed it. We also received some writing credits because we kind of like worked together as like a team to make this a more involved story as like we got to learn our characters and stuff. We kind of threw out some ideas on how we felt our characters would behave. There is like a couple of UP references because obviously you name something Uper Frankenstein, you have to at least have something in there that is going to connect it to the UP since it is a straight horror and not like a campy comedy. So there are definitely like pasty references.
Yep.
I almost said Pacey. Oh my God, I would have been.
That would have been a sin.
You know, there's some dialect and some things like that, but yeah, so hopefully once it is finished, hopefully within the next couple of months here, I do know that Dave wants to show this film like in Michigan theaters, like definitely throughout the UP, maybe Northern Lower, and if he can, probably Lower Michigan. But yeah.
Well, when it comes out, let me know, and I'll see what I can do, at least for the Roseville area, because that's where
Right
I'm.
on.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All right, so it's no secret if anyone's seen my shows, my favorite subgenre is zombies. I love zombie movies. And I see there's something here called Zombie 9: The Survivor.
Hey!
Can you give us a synopsis on that without spoiling in too much, and how you play into that one?
All right. Are you familiar with the Lucio Fulci movie Zombie from the 1970s? Look at that. Right there on deck. That's the one.
I was gonna bring it up, so I had it there.
You did do your homework. All right. Yeah. So this is the 9th installment in that franchise. So this one was sub-licensed to Dustin Ferguson to be able to make both the 8th and the 9th installments in the zombie franchise. And we were fortunate to be cast in this with a segment that we were able to film remotely. So what happens in Zombie 9 is it's pretty far into the outbreak, and there's a lone survivor who is trying to make it, has to abandon his home, it goes into the LA woods to try to stay alive. And throughout the movie, there are some callbacks to things from Zombie 8, like footage from survivors. And one of the things that they look at early on in the movie is previous footage of people that is self-recorded on their phones, basically. Early stage outbreak reactions and stuff like that.
So that's where we came in, as we were early stage outbreak. And so thankfully, again, like we were able to do that right here remotely and submit the footage to them. But that was a lot of fun to do too. And to be a part of such a franchise like that, it's an honor. So
It's probably hands down the best zombie franchise outside of Return of the Living Dead. That's my favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But if it's anything compared to like the rest of the series, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good because I'm actually caught up to date on it. So
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Yeah.
and then another franchise that I'm very familiar with, Witchcraft 17.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I got that whole series over there, but I'm not going to go grab it.
Wow.
Brief synopsis. I think I already read the synopsis, but just for the people who haven't heard of it, and just how you play into that one.
You can do the synopsis. I'll
All
add
right.
to it.
So, Witchcraft, that whole series is about, more or less, it's about the experiences of the warlock William Spanner navigating kind of some time jumps between Salem witch trial era Massachusetts and present day. So in Witchcraft 17, there are going to be time jumps similar to what you see elsewhere in the franchise. And Stephanie and I are playing, well, myself, I am the Salem witch trial era William Spanner, and Stephanie is playing the High Witch Cecilia.
Mhm.
And we have a very heated exchange.
Yes, it's quite hot. But we also are fortunate enough to be able to film that remotely, since it is a time jump, and we're blessed with so much wooded area up here. We can really sell it and make it seem like we're back in Salem witch trial era. But again, super honored to be a part of this franchise. I mean, I'm in awe that I get to step into these roles and be a part of history, horror history.
Oh yeah. I want to say, just from the little bit of knowledge that I've gotten from this conversation and just what I've read and stuff like that, you guys have nowhere near in sight a plateau. You get the sky's the limit for you guys, and I always take a moment out of every episode and just praise everybody. So that's what I'm gonna do right now.
Thank you.
But I think the fact that you guys work pretty much together all the time, that speaks to the commitment and communication you guys have with each other, because you can bring these characters to life pretty much like no one else can because you guys are such, so close with each other and stuff. And
Right.
that's awesome. So I
Yeah.
congratulate you guys.
Thank you.
Joe's my business partner, my friend, my co-star. I mean, we have the same goals in mind. And so finding someone like that that's I mean, in the same town as you, like we can bounce ideas off of each other. We can plan our next steps. We can get our name out there and find roles and let each other know about these roles. And it's just like this whole back and forth thing that we've got going on. And I'm so grateful for it.
She is a fantastic actress. And the other thing that we have going for us is we both have a really intense work ethic where
Yeah.
if we get a part, we want to give everything we have to make that part come to life and be good. We are both so meticulously detail oriented and so committed to making sure that we get the best out of ourselves and out of each other that it's just a great match.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that I found her.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. So here's a question that I ask everybody. If there's a person in the industry that is still around that you haven't worked with that you want to, is like a bucket list person you want to act with, who is that person?
Winona Ryder.
That's a
I
solid
do.
choice.
I really do. It would be a dream come true just to be in the same room as her. Like icon. Icon.
Oh yeah. That's a solid choice.
Um, and for me, my favorite type of character to play, like I said earlier, is sinister characters, characters that are evil and unpredictable and psychopathic. Like that is really my niche. So to be able to work with an actor like that, I think would be a huge honor. Off the top of my head, I think like Bill Moseley is a great example of that.
Yeah.
And I am blanking on his name, but it's the actor who plays Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones.
Oh
I can't remember his name either, but yeah, he's intense.
yeah.
Super intense.
That is a character inspiration for a lot of the characters that I do.
Oh,
And another weird one is Tuco Salamanca from Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Watch that show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He is a psychopath, and I love it.
Oh yeah. I haven't met Renona Ryder or the other two gentlemen, but I have met Bill Moseley.
Really?
He does a lot of conventions, right?
Oh yeah, I met him 2 years ago at Astronomicon. I was like Devil's Rejects all the way. My wife was like Repo the Genetic Opera. I'm like, what? But anyhow, then she
That's
showed
such
it
a
to me. I was like,
good movie.
yeah. At that time, I didn't watch it, but then since then I have watched it. I was like, it is a pretty good movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But cool dude, awesome. I think he's supposed to come back again next year. I'm not sure though. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit up one of these conventions and meet him too. Bucket list. I've got such a long bucket list.
yeah, that's kind of like the me too. I have a bucket list too, but this ain't about me. This is about you guys. So uh, so let's talk about Life Form 3.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just finished wrapping that the first week of June. That it is the third in a trilogy of life forms. It pays homage to aliens. So the first two are about my sister, Xena Ellis, who is on this mission and the ship crashes and she's in the hospital and she's connected with these aliens. And then come the third installment is where I'm introduced as her sister, and I'm trying to find her. So I go out into the woods with a couple of repeat characters from 1 and 2, and we wander through the woods trying to figure out what happened to her. But that should be released this fall. Should be available on Tubi. So.
Okay. Tubi seems to be a destination for a lot of great films that otherwise wouldn't get seen because Hollywood is Hollywood. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Listen, indie all the way. I love my indie movies.
Oh yeah. I say it all the time. Like Hollywood is since the pandemic, Hollywood has taken a step back while the independent scene has flourished.
Yes.
And I'm all for that. So
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I would much prefer the indie scene to make this huge blow up comeback and for all of us to be a part of it. Let's go.
oh yeah.
It's an opportunity for all three of us.
Oh yeah. Uh let's talk about Kevin Kills.
I
Yeah.
would love to.
You know, kind of just a brief synopsis and how you play into that.
Yeah, so Kevin Kills, I would compare most to the TV show You on Netflix. Have you seen that show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. So,
Oh yeah.
the central character is a psychopath who has childhood trauma. There's a running internal narrative monologue going on as he goes about the things that he's doing. Kills very indiscriminately, but there are certain types of bottom feeder undesirables that he prefers to kill in particular, almost as a way of sending a message. Um, and I won't reveal too much of what happens yet. I can't really say what happens to me, but the movie is coming out very soon. What I can say, because I mean, there's a few photos out there of me in this movie that I think are pretty public, but I am a jogger. And I'm a confident jogger who wears, his 80s style headband and short shorts. And I'm just out running along in the neighborhood, waving hi to people. And I stumble upon evidence that something might be going on at one of these houses. And then I go in and investigate. And what happens next is something you'll have to find out by watching coming this
Yeah.
fall.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. Uh, so I'm gonna give you guys the floor. Actually, no. Before we do that, let's talk about Haunted House Party. Everyone's telling me about this movie. I haven't known nothing about it because I was waiting for you guys to come on. Explain Haunted House Party to me, please.
And that one is one that we actually can't really say anything about due to
Oh,
the nature of the NDAs. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
oh no,
Maybe
you're good.
yeah. We've actually been fortunate because we've had a number of projects now that nobody even knows about because there are NDAs involved, and it's because they're for bigger networks and things like that. So there's a little bit more that's under lock and key. As soon as some of this stuff comes out, we are going to shout it from a mountaintop because we are proud of it. But for the time being, we have to be pretty quiet about certain things.
Oh yeah. I understand that. Trust me, because everybody involved with my film out there had to sign an NDA. I know all
Yep.
too well.
Yep.
uh, oh, and here's an exclusive. So, Stephanie, you've been cast as Sadie.
Yay!
Uh, we,
Surprise!
but the cut is actually tied in loosely to Not There.
Okay.
So, I'll explain more to you about that later. And we're still going through auditions for the role that you auditioned for, Joe. But you got a good shot.
Thank you for saying that, Josh. And I respect your process. I hope it works out for me, but you take your time and review your submissions and make your decision. I know how it works in this world. It's tough being a casting director. Um, Not an easy job. You gotta have
No.
thick skin, but you do your thing, and I respect whatever happens.
Always.
But I hope we work together. I like you, Josh.
Thank you.
You're,
Hey,
you're
you
a
guys
smart
are
guy, and
awesome.
you're important.
Yeah. All right. So I will respect that you can't talk about Haunted House Party. So we'll go into where you guys can kind of give advice to people who are trying to get into the industry, whether it be writing, directing, producing, acting, any facet of the industry. Any one of you can start.
Really the only advice that I have is you can't give up. Even when you're getting turned down left and right, you have to go in when you're doing these auditions knowing that you're probably not going to get 99% of what you audition for, and it has nothing to do with you. It's just that these casting directors are looking for a particular type of individual, and you just may not fit that part. And that's okay, because if you keep trying and keep pushing, you will find something that is for you. But never stop practicing, never stop learning. Keep pushing. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. And there are some days where, like, I question, what am I even doing? But it's the fact that I love it so much that keeps me going. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to make movies for the rest of my life. And whether that's in front of the camera or behind the camera, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to be creative forever.
Uh, so,
Stephanie so eloquently gave what I believe is the best answer to that question. I was going to say something if I went first about the importance of resilience and depersonalizing rejection and things like that, because when you have that emotional tool, you can have a much better shot at being successful in this. But she said it so well that I'm going to have to pivot to a different answer. So your original question was about advice, whether you want to be an actor, director, producer, or whatever. So I think the answer really depends on which one of those things it is that you want to do. I can say for myself, eh, my primary love has always been acting, but as I've gotten deeper into this, I've really started to enjoy writing, casting, directing, and to some degree some of the technical things involved in filmmaking, but really my main love continues to be acting. So the advice that I would give, in addition to what Stephanie has said about having thick skin and being resilient and being able to deal with rejection, is do what you can to learn industry etiquette and insider information. And for me, the way that I was able to obtain that was by going to acting school. But I think there's other ways that you can get that information too. There are people who are really good people in this industry who will want to help you and educate you and give you feedback and things like that. And learning how to network with the right people is how you can both learn what some of these industry professionals are looking for if you're trying to build a career, and it can also help you cement connections where you can rise and elevate with those people. So I think trying to become educated on how to do things the right way has done a lot for me. And also the connections that I've built with some of the people in this industry has done a lot for me. So just, be good to people.
Yes, be
Yeah,
supportive. Be
yeah, yeah.
supportive of your other indie actors, your other
Yeah.
indie filmmakers. This is not a competition. There is enough out there for everybody. Be kind. Just be kind, you know? Network, be kind to each other.
oh yeah. Uh, what would you, if you could go back to when you were 10, what advice would you give yourself then that you know now that you didn't then?
You can go first on this one.
My advice would have been to take advantage of every opportunity for acting possible at age 10. There is lots of children's theater, there are school plays, things like that. There are casting calls for child actors. I wish that I would have known that that whole world exists and gone after it more aggressively. Because I think one of the things that I would consider a mistake is I didn't start taking this really seriously until 2001. I wish I would have started taking it really seriously 10 or 15 years before that.
And I think I kind of have to disagree. I'm not a big fan of children, what children go through as being a child actor and the pressures and things like that. Um, but I would have definitely told myself to start sooner, at least 10 years sooner. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I did a lot of stage and I've always loved acting. But when it came to film, a lot of it was this, my location where I lived. Like, you don't think that you're ever going to make it as an actor in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. But now with technology and the internet and being able to network with people and traveling and things that I know now, the possibilities are endless. So I don't know. I don't know that I would have ever done anything differently because I needed to have all the life experience that I had leading up to this point in order to be able to handle everything this life is throwing at me.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Speaking of child actors, you hear the horror stories. I mean, look at Macaulay Culkin. I mean, just Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
They had tumultuous lives. Luckily, they're back on track. But I mean, I understand. That being said, I actually do have two minors on my cast, but it ain't like that.
No.
I
No.
want everybody to know that I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to say, hey, you have to do this, hit that mark. you
Yeah.
Right.
know.
You know, and there's a difference between like indie kids, you know what I mean? They're treated much better than like Hollywood kids who are
Yeah.
literally like work monkeys. Like
Yeah.
you just keep going, and it doesn't matter. So yeah. But I don't think me at 10, you know, would have blasted.
Yeah, you
Oh
need
yeah.
to be emotionally equipped to handle this life. So what you're saying about all the experiences leading up to being
Yeah.
able to do this now, that is so accurate. I don't know that a younger version of me, maybe even 25-year-old me, would have been emotionally equipped
Yeah.
to handle the rejection that comes with this world and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
So,
So in your guys' journey, have you how have you faced the harsh realities of the industry? Because even on the independent scene, there are some harsh realities. I
mhm.
won't go into too many of them, but how do you guys face those and overcome those obstacles?
Well, I have a really good support system at home and then also with Joe, you know. So like my family really supports me in everything that I do. My husband's a very big cheerleader. My kids are very big cheerleaders of everything that I do. And so the fact that they like what I do kind of keeps me going in that respect, but they also don't really know the world. So that's where Joe really heavily comes into play, and we're kind of like each other's emotional support people when it comes to all of this. It's like that venting system of like, this happened, like what do I do now? And we kind of talk through different options, and you know, we're not always right with what we come up with, but it's a constant learning process. But the fact that, you know, we do have each other in town that are close and supportive of one another I'm extremely grateful for that.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, and I'd say there's kind of like a two-part process that one should follow when you encounter the kind of darkness that exists within this industry. The first is an emotional depersonalization from it. So in this movie world, you will get screwed by people. People will do bad things to you. It's kind of a rite of passage. It is inevitably going to happen.
Yeah.
The reasons that it can happen are often unrelated to anything that you personally do wrong. Um, but they can be. So I think it's really critical to have the self-awareness to look inwards, ask yourself, did I make a mistake in this situation or did I not? Was I too trusting? Was I not trusting enough? Did I mishandle a social interaction? Did I, you need to ask those kinds of questions to yourself, and you might. If you're a self-aware person, you can realize what you did wrong and what you didn't do wrong and depersonalize the things that are not truly your fault. After you've gone through that emotional depersonalization stage, then I think the next thing to really do is talk about what are your next steps moving forward. Practically, what does this mean for you? So, if something goes wrong in your career, what is salvageable? What doors of opportunity did that close? What doors of opportunity did that open? And just kind of go about everything rationally with an eye for the big picture and how you can move forward and still keep succeeding in things.
That's where he comes in, because I'm pretty emotional sometimes. I'm the one that wears the heart on the sleeve. Okay. And he's the one that's like, you gotta come back down to earth. It's all right.
Stephanie always says this, and these are her words, not mine, but she says she's the unhinged one and I'm the professional one.
Like that sometimes, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, but it is awesome you guys can lean on each other and rely on each other to kind of ground each other, which is sorely needed in this industry right now,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, because there's a lot of things that go on, trust me, I know. There's a lot of things that go on that I'll explain that afterward. But uh
Yeah.
my wife doesn't like horror movies. So anything I'm doing in my man cave, study, whatever you want to call it, she has no idea what's going on. So my support system is, hey, I'm right there. She goes, do a good job. But I mean, I I respect the fact you guys can lean on each other, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josh, I hear you alluding to some drama and tribulations that you're having. In your role, you are a director and a producer, right? I mean, you're trying to make it
Executive
work.
producer, yeah.
Yep. You're trying to make it work in this indie horror world, and I'm sure with you're realizing pretty quickly that there are a lot of people involved. It's like a big group project where you need everybody involved is needed, but there are different personalities at the table, and trying to find the ways to make everybody happy when there's not a lot of money to go around and people kind of have different things what they want. It's tough. It's management on a large scale. And tension and conflict and drama can be pretty inevitable, but you find who the people that you can count on are, the people that you really trust, the people who have good nature and stuff like that, and you keep them around. I mean, and then
Oh
the
yeah.
further and further you get into it, the more those become your trusted people, and then things become drama free.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
hope,
So,
anyways.
Oh yeah. I would like to touch up on a little bit more information that I found out about you guys.
sure.
You both dance. So
Well, dance is a loose term. Joe dances. I just kind of get twirled around a little bit.
but ballroom dance, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a lot of people who do that. So kind of explain that to us. How'd you get into that, and does it play any part of your life now?
Sure. So, I competed in collegiate ballroom dance when I was at Michigan State University. And once I graduated from there, I moved up to Sault Ste. Marie, but I wasn't quite ready to give that dream up yet. So I competed for about another year and then transitioned into teaching. So one of my jobs, in addition to being a psychologist and an actor, is that I am a professor of ballroom dance at Lake Superior State University. And when we were planning pre-production for You Per Frankenstein, the writer slash director had a scene in there that involved a flashback where I'm dancing with my wife who died in that lab accident, but it wasn't very fleshed out. It was just kind of like a brief couple second thing. And so I suggested, what would you think about having this be an idyllic dream sequence where I'm dancing, like doing an actual waltz with my wife. And then it evolved from there where there's interspersed cuts of Stephanie and I dancing together because in You Per Frankenstein, she represents um the the object of my lust, I guess you could say. We have kind of like a budding high tension romance that develops. So we fleshed out this whole idea and we realized we can have a really beautiful slash dark dance scene in this. I just need to teach Stephanie waltz. And let me tell you what, she learned so fast and so differently than anyone I've ever taught. She's able to just kind of observe and think about how to do it. And then she spends like 10 minutes just noticing what someone else is doing, then she can suddenly come in and do it. I've never taught anybody who's able to learn. So
And then I got to learn how to do the aerials too, which is great for like stunts and stuff. So I know how to get flipped. I know how to get twirled around. So, it does come in handy having these little skills.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I
And
mean,
she's fearless.
oh yeah. I mean, it's cool though because you guys can again interpret things in your everyday life into the art that you guys are doing, and it makes people drawn into the projects you're connected to because now we're not only in essence getting these characters, but we're getting a part of you too. So that's phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said.
Yeah. We are coming to the end of the show, but I am going to give you guys the floor for the next couple minutes to plug your socials where people can see your movies and if they can reach out to you or not. That's entirely up to you. And just anything you want to plug.
Okay, go ahead. You can go first.
All right.
I'm just let you go first all the time.
All right. So yeah, if you want, go ahead and look me up on Instagram, joe.sbar, SBAR. And feel free to add me as a friend on Facebook. Anybody who sees this interview, feel free to follow me on Instagram. Make sure to follow You Per Frankenstein on Facebook and Instagram too, because we've got a lot going on there as far as updates with the movie and things like that. But we will constantly be posting and keeping you updated with things that we're doing. Also, feel free to reach out. Feel free to message me. One of the things about me is I like helping people. I like teaching people the things that I've learned. I like being a source of positivity and support and guidance for those who are interested in, following in some of the things in this journey that I've been doing. So I'm very friendly. Feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Both tags are just Stephanie Gurnoe, Gurnoe. Um, I've got my IMDb that you guys can check out. Most of our stuff is going to be able to be viewable on Tubi here pretty quick. I think VHS Violence will be the first one to drop this summer. And then after that, there will be more coming this fall. And hopefully, Frankenstein will hit theaters this fall. But yeah, so give me a follow, give me a message, give me a like, give me a shout out. I don't, I'm around.
I want to thank you both for coming on. You've been phenomenal. You've been rock stars, all stars, all kinds of stars except for fallen stars. But it has been an honor and a privilege. You both are phenomenal actor, actress, people. Most of all, you're just decent human beings, and that's what the world needs today.
Oh,
Thank you, Josh. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, we love doing this interview with you. You're a smart guy. I appreciate the way you've done your homework and learned things about us and asked insightful questions. This was a pleasure. This went by
Yeah,
fast.
it was a lot of
All right.
fun.
All right. I always tell everybody once you've been on NC-17, you have a home with us. So anytime you guys want to come back on, you're more than welcome. Whether it be talk about movies, plug movies, or just say, Josh, you got a booger in your nose.
Well, great. This will be the last time we talk to you. Then, well, absolutely for me and you. Like I'm in your movie, so
That's
yay.
right. Actually, if you guys want to stay on a minute after we record, I can go a little bit into detail with you.
Sure, I'd love to.
All right. I normally end the show with saying everyone stay in C-17. Been changing it up every time. Today I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say everyone who's going to see this, please, for the love of God and everything, just make sure you're kind to one another because that's what this world needs today.
Yes. Yeah. And I will second, third, fourth that all day. Just be kind.
And I'll fifth, sixth, and seventh that.
All right, everybody, until next time.
$0.
Oh, yeah.
Bye. Thanks a lot.